Well, I just feel blessed tonight just to come up here behind such strong women and men of God. Woo! Wow. Because I want y'all to know, when I told you that devil, he's right here, my brother Billy said, he attacked me with my own words last week. I literally was succumbing to that trap. I was falling into that trap and I was trying to hide. But this sister that knows me so well, well, she said, "What's wrong?" I'm like, but by the end of the day, he showed me it was by my own words. The devil was using my own words against me. And then after hearing Pastor Dakota, I speak life to that. Pastor Dakota, I speak life to that. Hearing his word on Sunday, the storm, I was just going through another storm because he doesn't want me up here. Because, God gave me something that I didn't think I was strong enough for. These are his pressure points. They're not mine. They're not yours. It's his. And he gave me six of them. So I gave you one and two last week. We talked about trials. We talked about temptation. But tonight, we're going to talk about the pressure of words. Words are strong. They're really strong in the way that they come across and partiality. He's working on my tongue tonight. Thank you, Jesus. So, these were the pressure points in the life of Jesus. Now, as a human being, Jesus faced every pressure we faced, but his was on a much deeper level. And since Jesus is the only perfect human being, and I say that he's the only perfect human being that has ever existed, we know that he never once caved into pressure. He did not give in to temptation. And I didn't even talk about this last week, but he was in that wilderness and he was tempted, but he didn't give in. He did not give in. He's shown us we are strong enough. We can be strong not to give in to the temptations of this world. We don't have to be that rat, like we talked about. That we don't have to be that rat. So first, we're going to talk about, it's going to be part two, partiality. Now we know, I'm going to tell you what it means first. It's an unfair bias in favor of one thing or a person compared with another. Favoritism. So I'm going to ask this question. You don't have to say it. Who's your favorite child? Have you ever been asked, who is your favorite child? Oh, I have many, many times. And they'll each tell you something different. Well, Robin's the favorite child. No, Stephanie. Well, no, Zachary's a boy, so he's the favorite. And we know that's wrong. The workplace is their favorite person. This person that gets picked all the time. Or when you're at school and they're picking teams, well, this little boy over here, we're going to pick him last. But you don't know, like I said, the power of words. He hears that. We don't want little Johnny on our team because he can't catch that ball and he can't run. I feel that myself in Kid City. We don't want Pastor Christine over here in our team because she's going to kick the ball and fall down. But I'm good with that. Like we say, we know playing favorites is wrong. But we're going to ask tonight, did Jesus play favorites? Did Jesus play favorites? Was his disciples favorite because he picked them and no one else? I can't answer that. You can't answer that. Only he can answer that. But were they his favorites? We'll never know. We'll never know. He did not heal everyone that he came in contact with. We say they got not everyone, because he had many people, he had many missions that he went on, but not everyone got a healing. So how did he choose who he was going to heal? Like I said, while he healed many, many times, some of them he declined to heal. Does that show impartiality? So in John 5, he healed only one man among the sick and the lame. And there were many around him, but there was only one man he picked. Once again, how? How does he pick this man? How is he picking this man out of every other person that's there that needs him? So I said, does Jesus have favorites? So tonight we're going to open our Bibles. You can stand for the word if you like. We're going to be in Mark 7. It's going to be 24, possibly to 30. And from hence he arose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon, and entered into thine house, and would have no man know it, but he could not be hid. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, cipher, oh my gosh. Anyway, the woman was Greek. Nation. Thank you. See, I told you I was going to say it. Thank you, brother. That's it. Oh, bless it, Lord. Hmm. She was besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But Jesus said unto her, let the children first be filled, for it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it onto the dog. Mhm. Which brings us to our title tonight, called Table Scraps. This should be a story that you're thinking, wow, she just asked for help and she's, hey, I mean, did he really just call her and her daughter a dog? Was he this harsh to this woman that he's going to lay a label, which we've heard preached before? He's going to lay a label on her, but he's going to call her a dog? Whew. But we're going to dive into this and we're going to see what it really means to be a dog. Now, I'm going to tell you, I got a little stuck on this today. He gave it to me, and I just kept thinking, dogs. We don't know this Jesus. Who is this Jesus to look for somebody that needs help? He's looking at her and calling her a dog. I mean, wow. But in verse 24, it says that Jesus, he was in Tyre, like we said, and he was in Gentile territory. Now, this wasn't the first time that he goes to Gentile territory, because in Mark 5, he's there where he cast out demons in a man. So we know he was there then. And then we know in John 4, our Samaritan woman, she's one of my favorites, where he let her and she goes out and she tells him, he told me about everything everything like that. That's me. I said, he told me what I was, who I was, what I did, but he also told me what I was going to be. When I didn't believe it, he told me what I was going to be, what I was going to do in this walk that I was going to walk, even when I didn't believe it. Jesus, as we know, we talked about it last time, he's trying to get away. He's trying to have some time to himself. So here he went and he tried to hide in this house, but still somebody finds him. Still, they hear that he's here. She hears that he's here, so she's got to go and lay herself on a seat and ask for help. Now he's thinking, you think, why does he always go to Gentile? People that are persecuting him, they're not going to go to Gentile because it's unclean. They're considered unclean. They don't want to be in unclean territory. Mm. Whew. Mm. So, this didn't surprise him when he saw this woman come up. It's not a surprise at all because, as we know, no matter what he's trying to do, that pressure of his ministry is going to step in. He's got that compassion, that pressure of compassion. He's got to have the compassion that he can't just push him away. He's one way or another, he's going to listen and hear what you got to say. So I looked at this and said, well, I got to dig a little deeper, Jesus. I mean, give me a little more, little more. And he told me, there are dogs and there are dogs. There are dogs and there are dogs. So when the woman asked for healing, because like we said, her daughter had an unclean spirit. She needed help. She didn't know what else to do. She heard he was here, so she had to go to Jesus and ask him for help. And what was his response? The children be fed first, for it is not right to take children's bread and throw it to the dogs. There goes that dogs again. What? But to understand this, we must look at what he meant by children and what he meant by dogs. Now, the children are the Jews. And from what he knows, this is what he was sent to do. The Jews were God chosen. He wasn't here. God sent him here for them. They were his priority. Jews were his priority. And the Gentiles, they were called dogs. So he used this not to talk down on her, but this is what they were called. This is what they were called. The Jews their tendency was to call them Gentile dogs. So he was just, and speaking to her on that level. So, like we said, the Gentiles, in comparison to the Jews, were like dogs of the household. Seems a little rough, huh? Doesn't it? Yeah. So, was he showing favoritism? He's following his father's wishes. He was put down here to help the Jews because they were, like I said, they were the chosen. I believe Matthew calls them the lost sheep of Israel. He didn't call them dog, he calls them the lost sheep. So, like I said, when he says, first let the children eat all they want, he's simply saying, I have to feed my own. I have to feed my family before I can feed anybody else. Because unfortunately, my family is the priority, and your family is not the priority. Your daughter is not the priority right now. I was given a task to complete, and I got to complete this task at hand. But she understood. She understood her position. She didn't take haste of it. She knew. She knew. So he replies. She knew. She understood her position in humility, and she replies to him in verse 28. Even dogs under the table eat children's crumbs. This woman was in her faith. She knew Jesus had the power to heal her daughter. And her mission was to get her daughter healed. Labels didn't mean anything because she was a Gentile. She was used to being called a dog. So for him to say that to her was she took it in. Yes, sir. Yes, I believe in this. I don't have it in my notes, but he said she was the one in this chapter. She calls him Lord, and that's the only time that you hear him. She calls him Lord. And Jesus could bless her. Oh Lord, bless my daughter. I could hear this in my head. Bless my daughter. But it's in her faith that God favors her. Her faith. So I'm saying he's testing her faith. I'm sitting here and I'm calling you this and I'm telling you, dog, and I'm telling you, I got to take care of my family first. She wants the crumbs. Can we just have the crumbs? You know, how many people you're sitting at your table My dog's full, y'all. She's ready for them crumbs. She's ready for them crumbs. Mm. But with this woman's persistence and her willingness to accept the label and the position, she triumphed over the obstacle of the Lord's argument with keenness and humility, and she was rewarded. When he tells her in verse 29, for this saying, go thy way, the devil is gone out of thy daughter. It's by her faith that he favors her. This is the kind of faith that Jesus recognizes and he rewards. He is not concerned with your status, your background, your family tree. None of that means anything to him, but he's interested in your faith. So, in Matthew's account of this same story, because we know a lot of them, they have a different view of the same story, Jesus tells the woman that she has great faith. That's what he wants from us. It's that faith. We have to have that faith. Because I'm telling you, when I can tell you I can jump now and I can run now. Because when Cito put his hands on me and I fell to the ground, I got up and baby, I ran. When the doctor said it's going to be a year, I can jump and I can run and it don't hurt no more. That's that faith, because I had that faith that Jesus was going to heal me, and he did. And he could use each and every one of y'all to heal somebody else. So, was this story meant to be offensive? But it was showing the power of words, because I haven't got there. And we know we teach our children all the time about the power of the tongue and how just that one little word can lift somebody up or it can destroy them. Like I said, of the children standing there waiting to be picked, those words can destroy them. Hearing those people, other kids, they don't want to pick them. This is what causes you got the bullying and you got little children committing suicide because of the power of the words that they're hearing. So when you're under that pressure, what are you going to do with your words? You got this person in front of you, and believe me, I have people in my face all day at work. When you have them person in front of you and they're calling you all kinds of names and whatever you do, and you're getting backed up in the back, what are you going to do? Are you going to let them pull you out of your godly character? Are you going to go on their level and speak death? That's what I call it, speak death. Your mouth and your words can be used to worship, but they can be used to be cursed. You can curse somebody with those words. Somebody could be down here putting hands on you, and it's not of Jesus, it's of the devil. That's why sometimes you got to be very careful who you let put their hands on you, because of what's coming out of them. So you got to make the most of every opportunity to share. You got to make the most of every opportunity to share those crumbs. You want to share those crumbs from God's table with everyone around you. So if you're really going to follow Jesus' example of not showing partiality, then it isn't enough to simply be welcoming people come to us. There's boundaries. Jesus, he went cross boundaries with gender. When he was talking to that woman at the well, he's not supposed to be talking to a woman. That was not the rules back then. Just like it's To be honest, it's not the rules right now. Sister Ray, I shouldn't be texting Brother Billy, even if it's about church or whatever, about these meetings, without you being in that line and seeing what I'm saying. No matter what the trust we have with each other, there's rules that have to be followed. You know, I shouldn't be driving in the car, riding in the car with your husband, even if it's to church without my husband, because you got the outside looking in, and we've talked before about you stand up here and they're going to watch. And that's the first thing you're going to hear. Well, Pastor Christine was not with Pastor Robert, but she was in the car with, sorry, Brother Billy. She was in the car with Brother Billy. There's rules we got to follow. Like I said, but there's boundaries you can't cross. You got to be careful. You might see that person, you want to share those crumbs, you want to share God's word, but you got to be careful too. You want to help everybody as you walk about. You want to help those homeless people. You want to help, but you got to be careful. Believe me, I wanted to go in them woods in Pensacola and help all those homeless people that I saw. But luckily, I got a strong man of God. He's like, we're not doing that. You can't. There comes times you can't risk your life to try to help somebody else, or you can't. Those ones that aren't ready to receive it, you can't let them drain what's in you out. And there's many people will be like, why didn't you pray for this person? I can't give them what they're not ready to receive. I got to save this for somebody that wants it. Just like when I was watching Brother Dakota, that fire he's got, I'm like, man, I want that fire back again. Woo! Jesus. Mm, I need that fire. I remember that fire. I remember oh, so while I'm watching them go after, and I'm watching Minister Rachel she's like a sponge, and I'm just watching. I'm like, whoo, only God can do it. Ah, only God can do it. No matter if we fall down, He's going to bring us back. We can't fall in that trap. We can't be stuck in that situation because the devil's waiting. He's waiting for you. So I ask you tonight, are you ready to share them crumbs? Are you ready to make the most of every opportunity to share what God has given you? Both the ones that think they're somebody, mm, mm, and those that aren't. Those that freely admit they are nobody. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm nobody. I'm just God's child, and He's telling me to say that, and that's it. I'm His child. So He's just using me, and I thank Him every day as a vessel to spread His word. So sometimes you just needed to be reminded that you're not better than anybody else. 'Cause that pride will get in the way. I battle with pride a lot, a lot. And that's what my battle was last week, because I was like, man, did I do bad? Because Apostle didn't put me on the app, and I must have done something wrong. That was the battle I was having. I realized, okay, all right, I'm like, when I stand up here, I want to show my father and my mother what they're pouring into me, what the results of what the results of what's happening. So I let the devil attack me and think, okay, well, you did something wrong. Pastor Roberts tell me, will you just stop it? He's like, will you just stop it? That's that doubt and that worry coming to attack you, coming to attack you. And I was like, okay. But then he felt it in his spirit. That's what he said. He felt in his spirit because he told you, I didn't forget about you. I promise you. I mean, man can read your mind sometimes. I swear. I swear. Swear. Ooh, pressure. It's all about pressure. I put pressure on this one every day. But she hadn't buckled under the pressure. Yep, pressure can be good. We talked about that. Pressure's good. Sometimes I think it's not so good when you're like, First Lady, say something for the Lord tonight. Mm. Oh, yeah, but that's when your best words come out when you're under that pressure. I meant to say that last week. I forgot. So tonight, y'all got me laughing. Tonight, I want you to ask yourself, am I enough? Am I spreading his words? Am I using my words to hurt somebody else? Are you ready to spread God's word? Are you ready to give unto him? 'Cause I'm going to open up this altar tonight. If you feel like you're missing something, if you feel like you're hurting, if you feel like you're that dog and you're not getting those and you want them scraps, now's the time. Now's the time. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to be filled. I want to thank y'all tonight for letting me do this. And I want to thank, first of all, Jesus. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this. That's all, to allow me to do this. I didn't think am I worthy enough to pull off a whole. I'm not say pull off a whole series. I've done two before, but there's a whole nother one he's got out there. So Lord willing, when it's His will, we're going to finish this off. When it's His will, we're going to. Because I'm telling you, the end's going off with a bang. End's going off with a bang. So I just want to thank y'all tonight for everything you do, everything y'all do for us in this church and everybody beyond these walls is not unnoticed.